Welcome everyone to the stream. Today I'm going to start a new project to learn Rust, and the goal is to create a small game using Rust. So today what we're going to do is start by opening a window. We will use X11 to do it because I'm working on Linux. So yeah, let's dive right in. So I have here my GitHub page. So I will start by creating a new repository. For the name I chose to use iCarus. So yeah, let me create the repository. And now I can just clone it. Okay, so let's initialize a cargo project here. And here we have our main, and we can run it with cargo run. And yeah, it just prints hello world. So now we need to see how do we open a window using X11. I've done this in the past, but I've forgotten how to do it. So we have here a few sources. Let's take a look at the C version. So yeah, we need to start by calling this xopen display function. Let me look up the documentation for this function. We pass in the display name, and it returns some kind of pointer to represent the display. So, and this is a C function, so we need to declare it in an extern block. Don't remember how to do this. Yeah, we have an example here in the Rastonomicon. So we declare an extern block, and then we can just type our function, and the return type, I think it was some kind of pointer. And we take a character. We can represent it with a I8, I think. And we need to specify also the name of the library we are linking with. In our case, the name of the library is going to be X11. of course we need to declare this display type. Maybe we can make it a unit struct, and needs to be recursive, I think. Does this work? We get a few warnings about functions not being used, but mostly it compiles. It says that display is not foreign function interface safe. So let's take a look at how we can improve this. Because the display is an opaque pointer, right? How can we represent an opaque pointer? Okay, we could use libc void, or we can do better. We can create a struct, which is what we did. So we specify an empty array as a private field of the structure. So we can do this. And then, what's this marker thingy? The marker ensures the compiler does not mark the struct as send, sync, and unpin. So I guess we will also, oops. We'll also add this marker. This is to indicate that this type should not be send or sync. So it should not be safe to share between threads and this kind of stuff. Do we get less errors with this? Hi Dinesh, welcome to the stream. I think you are my first viewer. How are you doing? Today I'm trying to open a Windows using X11 in Linux and using Rust. I'm doing fine, thank you. Okay, so now we don't get the errors that we were getting before. Let's give it a try to call this function inside of main. For the name, I think we can pass in a null pointer, and then we should get a display back. Linux is easy to install. Well, depending on the distro, I would say. In my case, I'm using Arch Linux, and it was the first time that I installed it, and it was not so easy. But if you install Ubuntu or Debian, I think it's easier to set up. They have graphical interface which is pretty easy to use, I would say. Okay, let's try to run this. And of course, since we are interfacing with C, we need to, and Rust doesn't know about C functions, we need to wrap this call in an unsafe block. So something like this. Yeah, I installed it from a pen drive, yes. You can also do it with a CD, right? You need to burn the image of the Linux into a CD, and then you can install it also from a CD. Okay, did this run? Yeah, so it seems to be running fine, and now we should be able to print the display. We get something, yeah, we get something that is not 0. It's an opaque pointer, so it seems that it's working. So after opening the display, we can check if it's null. And if it's null, we should print an error and exit the program. Do you use Windows, Dinesh, or Mac? And then we can also, how do we exit the process in Rust? Yeah. We can just exit with a non-zero exit code. Otherwise, if we were able to open the display, we can get the default screen, and then we can create a simple window. I'm going to start by closing the display first. So at the end of the program, we should close the display. We need to include this function into the things that we are importing from C. And if we take a look at the signature, this one, just takes the display as a pointer it does return an I32. Close display, closes the connection to the X server. I'm not sure what the integer is going to indicate. Maybe 0 is success or 0 is error. We can take a look maybe. So we are returning 0, so I assume that 0 is what the library returns on success, but I don't think we need to print the result. So next, we can take a look at the create simple window function. This one has a lot more of parameters. So let's see what they are. And there are two variants of the create window. There's one which has even more parameters, and the simple window which doesn't have so many. So let's start with the simple one. So create simple window takes the display, then it takes the parent window, then it takes X and Y as I32s, then width as unsigned I32 on the height, then it takes border width, the border as an unsigned long. I'm not sure if long is going to be 32 or 64 bits. Okay, on 32 bits, it's 4 bytes, but for 64 bits, is 8 bytes. So I'm going to set it as U64 for now. Then the last parameter is the background, which is also an unsigned I32. And this returns an object of type window. We need to define this type window. Actually, we can take a look at the source code. So window is declared in the x.h, apparently line 96, and it's declared as an alias for xid. So let's open in parallel. So we can do something similar. We can make a new type window which is equals to xid. And then what is xid? XID is an unsigned long, so use 64. Let's see if Rust likes this. Maybe cargo check. Okay, we just get a few warnings about type alias never used. But other than that, it compiles. And if we specify these types as public, I think we will even have less warnings. Yeah. By making everything public, we don't get all these warnings. Okay, so now that it compiles, let's try to call this function. We're going to define a window variable and then try to call xCreate simple window, passing in the display, the root window, which we don't have yet. Then we pass in the x and y, and the width and the height, the border, and then some colors. I'm going to pass 0 and 0 for the colors, and see if we get back a proper window. Let's try to print it. Let's try to run this. Okay, we need the root. So here it's calling this root window. Can we pass in 0 or null for the parent? Parent. Let's try it out. Let's try to pass in 0 as the parent. Invalid window parameter. So, but we got something non-zero. Okay, let's take a look at the root window. So we have a default root window. And I think we have two versions, the macro and the actual function call. So since we are in Rust, we don't have access to the macros. Let's just use the function. But for that, we need to define it in our list of functions. So xdefault root window takes in a display and returns a window. Then we can, instead of passing in 0, we can change this to xdefault root window, pass in the display, and let's see if that improves the situation. And it does. Now we don't get any error message like we were getting before. Nice. So what's next? Because right now the program just crashes or exits immediately. So we need to select input and map the window. So first we select input, display, window, and we pass in some kind of mask. Let's try to look up this function definition. So select input takes a display, takes a window, and takes an event mask, which is long. So signed is 64, I guess. And does it return anything? Doesn't say. So maybe let's maybe take a look at the here it says that it returns an int, so let's return an int. Also, let's define the map call since we're going to need it next. And it takes a display and the window that we want to map. And does it return anything? Again, it returns an integer. Okay, so now we can use the map, and right now I think I'm going to open a whole block for everything, since for now we are just testing out how to open the window, and later on we can try to come up with a safe abstraction. So at the end we close the unsafe block like this. Let's see if it runs, and it couldn't find key press mask. That's right, we need to find which value it is, and I'm guessing it's going to be on the X.H. Here are all the input event masks. No event mask is 0. So for now, let's just add the first one. Let's declare them as constants. And I think it takes an I64. Okay. So we can declare a couple of these. Key press mask 1 shifted by 0 bytes, 0 bits. Okay, so one more time. And I'm going to silence this warning. I think if I do it like this, yeah, it needs to be on the first line. So we select the input, we map the window, but the window is still not showing. So we need to create the main loop. We're going to create an infinite loop, and inside this loop we need to extract events. X next event. See. So let's add one more function to the list. And we can close this one. Next event takes the display as always, and then it returns an event by pointer. So event mode next event, and it also returns an integer as a return value. So we need to declare this X event type. We have it here. Now it's going to be on X, right? Where is it declared? Maybe it's not declared as a type def. Let's limit this to X11. So where is it declared? It's declared as a union in xlib.h. All right. So let's try to recreate this in Rust on the Rust side. I think we also have unions in Rust, but maybe later we can convert it into an enum. So we have type, and then we have one kind of event for all the types of events that we can have. And we also have this padding at the end, which is an array of 24 longs. Something like this. Does this check out? Okay, we just get some warnings. Nice. So here in the loop we are calling next event, display, and we need to pass in a pointer to an event structure. So we can declare an event here. And how do we fill it up? Let's see. So that's how we declare a union. And then so we declare it just with a type of 0. Will it work? And then we get a mutable reference. Will this work? Let's see. It complains that everything after the loop is not reachable, which is true. So what it does here in the example is when the event type is key press, it breaks out of the loop. So let's try to do the same. We will need to look up the value for key press. And then we break. And this is going to be on the other include file. Key press is 2. So let's add it to our list of constants as well. Let's put it as a I32 since that's the type of the type in the event union. And key press is 2. Let's add also key release. And then whenever we need any other kind of events, we are going to keep adding onto this list. Okay, now we don't get warnings. Will it run? Will it run? Let's see. And will it create a window? And we have a window. Oops. I think I need to run it from the console. We get this window, but as soon as I press a key, it is closed, which is what we coded, right? Let's try to improve upon this. Let's try to close only when the escape key is pressed. So in fact, let's start by modifying this if into a match. And then when we get a key press, here we can break out of the loop. This would be the same functionality, but we need to ignore the rest of the variants of the type, because match statements in Rust are they need to cover all the possible variants. If I comment out this line, we get a compiler error. Yeah, non-exhaustive patterns. So, but if I uncomment it out, then it works. Alright, so how do we get the key that was pressed inside of the key press event? I think what we need to do is let me look up again the X event structure. We need to extract the key event from the union. And we are going to need to define it as well. So our union so far only has the type and the padding, but can also have any event, any. So I'm going to comment out for now. And then X key. And many more. So we will need to specify how the XK event looks like. So if we look it up, it has all this data on it. It has the type, serial. So let's define it. Abstract. We have type, which of course we need to rename. We have a serial, U64. We have a send event, type bool. We have the display that this event was read from. We have the window, the root, the subwindow, the time, and X root, Y root, state, key code. I think key code is the field that we are interested in, but let's declare everything. So we are using this bool and time types, which we don't have declared anywhere, so we need to figure out what these types are. Probably they are in the other file. Okay, so time time is either an unsigned 64 or card 32. And this card 32 is an XID. Let's add some of these types in here. So we have this card 32 is equal to XID. And then time is equals to cardinal 32. What about the bool? Is it bool or is boolean? Bool. Maybe it's an extension or xutil. Xutil. Where is it declared? Where is it declared? Type def. Well, it's used in a lot of places. It's defined as an integer, could be. Where are you? Where are you? Line 82. Yeah, so it's a define, not a type def. My bad. So boolean is just an I32. Let's just add it. Oh, I32. We only have this one definition. Okay, double check. Unions with non-copy fields other than manually drop are unstable. Sorry, I need to take a break. Can we derive copy for it? That's what it's complaining about. And of course we need also to derive clone. Okay, so that did the trick for us. Now here, when the event type is of type key press, then we should be able to get the X key. Right? Okay, just a warning that we are not using it. And then we can match on the event dot key code was? Okay, key code, yes. Key code. I don't know what the key code for escape is, but for now I'm going to print it, and then I run the app. So if I press escape, it's key code 9. Right. So we get 9. then we break out of the loop. Otherwise, we can keep printing the key code. Save this, run. And here we have our window. Doesn't have much to it, doesn't have a title, doesn't have anything. And if we press the key codes, we get the numbers to the keys that we are pressing. Okay, so, and if we press escape, we quit the application. So, very nice. That was the goal for today. And I'm going to leave it here. Maybe I can add the changes. Add everything. Okay, I'm going to commit later because I don't have it set up. So thanks everyone for watching. I hope you liked it and see you next time.